everyone, and welcome to another Destiny 2 video. We are one day away from Season 18 and Arc 3.0 and just 1 week away from a returning Destiny 1 raid on Friday the 26th. I'm very excited to be able to take part in the Day 1 raid experience, and in this video, I wanted to kind of go over what I'm thinking my Day 1 raid build is going to be for my Hunter, as well as kind of give a tutorial on how I prepare my builds for Destiny 2. We're going to be using the Destiny 2 armor picker as well as dim to save the loadouts, and then I can just easily equip them in game. It's come to my attention that not a lot of people actually use Destiny 2 armor picker, and it's a great resource, so I wanted to be able to show you that, and I thought what better way to do that than to set up my Day 1 raid build along with you through these two great platforms. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And one more thing, if you do want to just skip to the final build and you don't need to learn how to use Destiny 2 Armor Picker or Dim, there will be a timestamp in the description below. You can just fast forward right to it. Alright, so here we are in game, and I wanted to show this briefly just because, as you can see, I'm using the seasonal mods. Of course, with this season we have Classic Restoration here. We also have the Armor of the Dying Star right here. But obviously with new seasons, we're not going to have those available to us. So I need to make sure that when I'm doing my new build, I don't have these mods equipped. I could just say, okay, let's go with this build and run right in. But I want to focus on two main things to my raid build because I think they're going to be important. One is survivability, and two is going to be team buffs and the way I can help my team. I'm going to be running the Hunter, so the best way for me to do that, I think, is Radiant and giving my team the buff Radiant. So we're going to be focused on that on the build. And then we'll come back here once we're done, look at it in game, once we're done building the build out on Destiny 2 Item Manager and on Dim. And so we'll be back here in a few minutes. Okay, so here we are in Destiny 2 Armor Picker, and this is a great website. You can see it up here, d2armorpicker.com. It's a great website. If you're not using it yet, I do highly suggest it, and I think you'll see why here in a few minutes. But I'm on my Hunter. As you can see, you can pick all three classes. You don't need to worry about that. And then you can see we can build in our stats. You can select an exotic. You have armor limitations. So if you know the mods you want to do, and they must be solar or stasis or whatever, you can select those. If you don't have the ability to masterwork, you can also change these as well. You can also pick mods here that affect your stats. So if I know I'm going to be using one of these mods, I can select that and it will take away from my stats at the end. Same thing with any of the three subclasses we have so far, Solar, Void, and Stasis. You can select these if you're going to be using them to change out the stat, whether it's negative or positive. Okay. I don't really use much of this, but you could do things like allow click these off. I have them on right now. Assume all legendary items are masterwork. If you don't have the ability to masterwork, you can just select that off. Same thing with the exotic, but you guys get the point. I don't really touch these. Once I get these preset, I don't really move them afterwards. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, go for it. But I'm going to scroll back up here to the top, and we're going to kind of get started with how this process works. Okay, so the first thing I usually do when using Destiny 2 Armor Picker is if I know I'm going to be using a exotic, I usually select that first down here from the ones available. The reason for that is because it builds it in right away, and I don't give myself false hope in being able to, triple 100 or whatever. It's going to take those stats from that piece of gear that I have and input them automatically. So I always select my exotic first. Now with my Hunter, I'm going to focus on Blade Barrage. Blade Barrage is great for boss DPS, but also for ad clear. So I'm going to be going for just the shards of Galanor to start with, because there's going to be ad phases, right? And I want to be able to clear those ads as quick as possible. So getting my super back as fast as possible is going to be huge, and so I'm going to go with Shards of Galanor. Now, if it's a strict boss damage, I could switch these out for something like the Star Eater Scales, and if it needs precision damage, I could always switch it out for the Celestial Nighthawk and run Golden Gun. Now, the way I'm going to build this out is that I have the ability to make these changes on the fly per encounter so that none of my embers or my fragments are affected by me switching to a different, I guess, subclass within solar, right? So I'm going to build it out that way. Now, if I scroll back up here to the top, I have my exotic selected. I'm going to scroll back up to the top and you can see these values. Now, these values will tell you exactly what it's going to do for you. So obviously, this season, with the changes to resilience, having maxed out resilience is huge for, as you can see on screen, the PvE damage reduction of 40%. So I want to be at 100% because remember, I want to go for survivability. So having that 40% damage reduction is going to be huge. So I want to start there. Now you can see I clicked on 100. That's telling the Destiny 2 armor picker that I must have 100 resilience minimum. Okay. Now it changes all these values. See, now it's telling me I cannot have 100 recovery with 100 resilience. I cannot have 100 mobility. I cannot have 100 strength. I can only have 80, right? So you can see the differences here. Okay. Now, personally, I really focus on discipline. With really all of my builds, I like having the ability of grenades on cooldown and quick cooldowns. So, and I think with the raid, I want to have that add clearance ability with grenades. So I'm going to go for a 90 here in discipline. Now that's telling the game that I must have a minimum of 90. You can see these values changed again a bit. Now, being a hunter, I need to focus on my mobility. I'm already down to 70 overall. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. So we're going to select 70 here and see what that does. Now, you see this kind of thing popping up on the side here. They're being pushed down there for some reason. Let's see if we can fix that. No. Okay. Fine. So we're at 70 mobility. That says my recovery is now down to 30. I don't know. I'm a big believer in recovery. The faster I can get my health back is important to me. So maybe let's go to 60. Does that change this number? Oh, it goes up to 40. Okay, so let's do that. Now you can see the difference here. My speed increase is 24%. This is a 28%. It's a 4% difference. Walking speed, it does affect my dodge. It goes from a 22-second cooldown on the marksman dodge, 29-second on the gambler's dodge, 103 on the acrobat, and you can see it's a 59. So about four seconds on the acrobat. It's not too bad. It's not. I think that's pretty negligible there. So I'm gonna live with that, and I'm gonna leave these here because I'm not really concerned about where these want to be. I want them to be as high as possible, but we're gonna leave those there for now. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. I'm gonna skip this part because I could tell it, oh hey, I want solar, I want this, I want that, but I'm okay with working around what I have. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look at these mods, and I have some mods written down here that I'm going to be using, and I don't believe any of these mods are the ones I'm going to be looking at, and we're going to talk about the mods soon. So I think I'm okay here. I don't need these, but let's move on to this next one because I think there's a few here that I need to select. Now I'm going to look for Ember of Singeing. No. Okay, great. Ember of Solace. No. Okay, Ember of Beams or Ember of Searing. Ember of Searing gives me 10. Okay, let's go with. I could do Ember of Beams, but I don't want it to be locked into Blade Barrage. So I'm going to go with Ember of Searing. So that's going to adjust. You saw it load. Great, and I think all the rest of them are good. So I've added that one. I'm just double checking. Perfect. Okay, I can scroll down here. Scroll. If you have a big enough desktop, they come up over here on the right. But I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. You can see all of these different combinations have been generated. 28 different combinations. And let's check out some of these. So you can see they're all in 100 resilience. We're all in the 90s here. I'm just going to look for the best stats possible. Right? And I see this right here. So a 63 overall, which is pretty much in line with all these. A 46, pretty much in line. A 35, I have some higher numbers here, but I think that's okay. 20s for everything, except for some 30s here. I think I like having this 100 and this 100 here. I like the double roll. Everything else is pretty negligible. So we're going to click on this one. I think this is the best one. It's going to tell me I need 2 solar, or 3 solar, sorry, and 1 void piece to go. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to have 43 over, so I'm going to have a 63 overall on mobility, 100 resilience, 46 recovery, 100 discipline, 35 intellect, and 24 strength. I think that's okay. I like those numbers. I like those numbers there. So when you find one you like, you can say open loadout in dim. Okay, it's going to load in dim. I guess I didn't need that open, but it's okay. So I'm going to wait for this to load. And it's going to bring it up right for you, right? So it's saying, oh, wow, it already loaded in the gear I want to use, okay? And it's leaving me my class item open for interpretation, for whatever I might want it to be, because the class item really doesn't matter that much. Now, I know that I want this class item to be a arc piece. So I'm going to put that arc one on, okay? So you can see my gear is here. It's already put in my mods here for me. And it's also equipped my subclass as well. Now, so I can go in to customize my subclass, and we're going to customize. Okay, so we talked about that. I want Blade Barrage. Now, I want to do Acrobat's Dodge here to begin with. I think this is going to give myself and my team a good 10% damage boost when we need it. I'm going to stay there, but I'm reserving the right to switch to Gambler's Dodge if I need to because of my low strength. Okay. So I have triple jump here available. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Solar, I'm going to go with Knife Trick. It has a nice cooldown. I do like the explosive knife, but I'm going to go with Knife Trick here. I personally like fusion grenades just because of the nice cooldown. They're one of the shorter cooldowns you have in the grenade section, but you could also go with a healing grenade, and I might change to those within the raid if I think I need them. Solar grenades are a nice option. It's really whatever your preference is here. Now, if I go down, I want to use On Your Mark, and I want to use Knock 'em down. And the reason for that is twofold, right? The Blade Barrage launches more projectiles. I want that. And while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. My strength is very low. This is going to be huge for me, okay? On your mark, precision final blows grant you and your nearby allies increased weapon handling and reload speed for a short duration. Stacks up to 3 times. Again, I'm buffing myself and my team and our ability to put out more damage more quickly. So I'm going to go with On Your Mark. Now, for my solar fragments, again, I'm focusing on survivability and team buffs, okay? So I'm going to go, my first one that I'm picking here is Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets. It's already selected Ember of Searing from our focus in Destiny 2 armor picker for me. So Ember of Searing, defeating scorched targets grants melee energy, and it gives me plus 10 recovery, which is great. Now, I'm also going to go with Ember of Solace. Radiant and restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. Now, I could go with something like, where is it? Ember of Empyrean. And I might switch to that depending on how quick I can bring things down. But typically, they're pretty chunky, right? And I might need to put these two together. This also is a minus 10 resilience. So for right now, I'm passing on Ember of Empyrean. Okay, so next one I want to look for is Ember of Ashes. Did I scroll by it? Ember of Ashes. Oh, already selected for us. Okay, great. Ember of Ashes, Ember of Solace, Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks make you and your nearby allies radiant. Great. Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. Perfect, right? It's giving me the, my low dodge on that mobility. It's giving me that little bit extra. Okay. Ashes. So we got Ashes, right? We got Torches. We have Singeing. We have Solace. And we have Searing. Okay. Those are going to be my applied fragments. All right. So we're going to hit apply. And you can see it loads them in right here. Now for the weapons, you can really select any weapon you prefer. But for me, you see, it brings open your weapons, and you're like, wow, this is great, right? I want to go with a Wither Horde. It's my favorite exotic. We're going to go there. Plus for ad clearance, it's great. I'm also going to go with my Callous Mighty tool. With Incandescent for the scorching effects and for just the really great ad clearance and incineration abilities. And then for this is where I'm a little undecided, but I'm gonna start with one of my Storm Chasers. Storm Chaser obviously being very meta this season. It's got a lot of damage and it packs a big wallop. So I'm going to go with that. I can then select any kind of like ghost I want if I have different ghost setups. But I'm just going to select my Hunter one. I can then select which emblem I want to run with it. I can select my Sparrow that I usually run with my Hunter. Where the heck is it? Here it is. And then I can select my Always On Time for my speeder as well. Now, I have that all done. This is all here. We're going to talk about fashion here in a little bit, but we're going to start with our mods. Now, you can say show mod placement, and then you can honestly go in here and select every mod you want to put in for your build, okay? So, on my head is solar, and I want to have Ashes to Assets for faster super. Again, I want to chain those supers as much as possible. So Ashes to Assets. And then I want Harmonic Siphon. I like Harmonic Siphon for the orbs. If anyone is running Star Eater scales, that's going to be very beneficial to them. There's Kinetic Siphon. Where is... it's right up at the top. Okay. So I can hit select mods, right? I can then go to my arms. And I know I want... I'm here. I'm solar again. So I want impact induction. Let me hit select mods, right? And it tells you how much energy used and unused. Great. My chest piece. Now I'm not going to have Armor of the Dying Star. I'm probably going to have something new this coming season. I might switch that out. But for now, I'm going to go with a concussive dampener. And I'm going to go with we have a void chest piece, so void resistance for now. Now that's not great for Hive and whatnot. We might change that out. Okay, so select mods for now, and again, I will most likely change this out for whatever this coming season's armor resist is. So my legs, I want 2 mods. I want innervation and I want recuperation. Select mods, and then for here again, I don't have any of these next season, so I need to be very smart. So I'm going to go with reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Again, I can just spam grenades out, and that's super helpful for ad clearance, for boss damage, for everything. So if I'm using my class ability, I can then use my grenade that much better and that much quicker. Now I can't use that. See, I made a mistake. This is arc. I can't do that. So it's unassigned at this point. So I can go back in here. I did that on purpose. You can go back in here, and I go, okay, I forgot that was arc. Let's go up here. We're going to use outreach. Reduce melee cooldown when using your class ability, okay? So we're using outreach. We'll put 2 in there for now. Perfect. And, again, depending on what comes with this season's mods, that might change. Now, you're going to say, Strudel, you're missing the most important ones. You're right. So what I want to do here is those are placed in there appropriately, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and it's going to show all of the mods I've already done already. And then I'm going to say, okay, I want, there's a few mods I know I want. I don't know. There we go. So I want, why are they all grayed out? I know, I'm looking. And class item armor, it gives you all of these last Wish Raid mods. Here we go. Charge with light mods. I know that I want a taking charge. And I'm also going to go with reactive pulse. Now, while charged with light, when you take damage while surrounded by combatants, you emit a burst of arc energy. Again, this is just buying me a little time and helping out myself if there are intense ad phases, giving me a little breathing room. So I'm going to add that. And then going to scroll down. I'm going to go with elemental armaments because I do want to be making wells. I want to go with Font of Might, picking up an element well that matches your subclass. Temporary bonus weapon damage. That's pretty obvious. And then I'm going to go with Well of Life for the added, just healing factor against survivability. So I'm going to add Well of Life. I think that's it. All right, let's see. Let's select mods. And we can go back and we show mod placement. Everything is being used. That's perfect. I have some room here for an armor, for a finder if I need to. Now, it's not perfect because it's only a 2-slot, but I could always lower and increase in another area, increase this, etc. Right? It gives me a good base to start with. But you can see it placed all the mods for me in the appropriate locations, which is allowing me better freedom and knowledge of where I have room and where I don't. Okay, so we're going to exit out of that. Now, we're going to go here. We're going to change our loadout name. We're going to call it Day 1 Raid Loadout. We're going to click Save. Okay, so now we're going to go back in the game. I'm going to click Apply. And then when we get to the game, you're going to see that apply on my screen. And it does it all for you. It's great. So let's go back into the game. All right. So here we are back in game. You can see I still have that old loadout applied. This hasn't changed. I'm going to click Apply on my Day 1 Raid Loadout on Dim. And you're going to see things start to change. There comes the Callus Mini Tool. Right? Wither Horde gets changed over, Storm Chaser gets put in place, and all of my gear is getting placed in its appropriate location with its appropriate mods. I don't have to touch anything. They need to be in orbit or at the tower or other safe spots and able to do this, but it's a great resource when you're in game and you're just trying to quickly change things over. You have things saved. You don't need to worry about armor pieces not being there when you need them, etc. Now this is taking a little bit of time. Okay, so my loadout is now applied. Now, he's not very fashionable. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can see, if I scroll over all my things, I have Ashes to Assets, Harmonic Siphon, Well of Life. All of my mods are placed the way I want them to be. Now, this mod I didn't select, but it was on there already, so it left it on there. I can just go and remove it, okay? All of this is the same. Yep, great. Perfect, right? It's all there. It's all the way you want it. Now, I'm going to make this guy look a little different, a little bit more stylish. And then we'll take a look at him again. So give me 1 minute. All right. So if you're just skipping ahead to see the build, this is it. I've got him, I think, looking much better. But Day 1 raid, I'm going to go in with my Wither Horde, my Callus Mini Tool, and my Storm Chaser. I have things in here lined up in case I need to switch them out. Nice Code Dwello, Hothead, Gallahorn, of course. I have a glaive, shoddy. I have a variety of weapons that I like to use here for my Day 1. And then I have Wither Horde. And again, just a variety of weapons. Something with blinding grenades is very nice. Just things to change up if I need to, depending on champs, etc. I have in here just in case. As for the build itself, we have Shards of Galanor, Acrobat's Dodge, Triple Jump, Knife Trick. You can really use any of these you prefer. But we're doing On Your Mark, Knock Them Down. We're going to have Ember of Singeing, Ember of Torches, Ember of Solace, Ember of Ashes, and Ember of Searing. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to look at the helmet. You can see the mods have placed there. Shards of Galanor. The chest piece, obviously we're going to be switching out those resistance mods for whatever the seasonal ones are this season. The legs and my class item. So again, depending on what fight we're in or what seems to be needed, I can switch out to a Celestial Nighthawk. I can have the Galanor here, or I can do Star Reader scales, depending on what the fight entails. But that's the finished build. Now, for fashion, All you'd have to do here is go back into dim. So let's do that. All right, so we're now back in dim, and you can see, you know, none of this is selected. So when I go to edit, I can change everything again, but I want to choose fashion. Okay, so we're gonna try to sync here. So I've selected this in game already. So I like to do it this way because then I can see what my character looks like. So it says, oh, you have this selected on it already. There you go. So I just hit preview shader, it puts it in there, and I can, oops, sorry. Let's hit that again, preview shader, right? And I can hit sync and it, boom, it does it all for me. Now I use the same shader on everything because I was just trying to do it easy. Boom, but you can select individual, and every time you click on it, it's gonna tell you which one is applied. And then also with this, you're gonna hit this and it's like, oh, that one's already applied, preview ornament, right? And again, I don't have anything there, so preview ornament, perfect, right? Boom, it's right there. It's this easy, guys. Preview ornament, perfect, done. Save fashion. Now that's built in to my build now. I just click hit save changes and I'm ready to go. And you can see I've built a lot of different builds in here for all three of my characters. It's a great tool. I highly suggest using it. But that's going to do it for the video. Like I said, we will be streaming day 1 raid on Friday, so please tune in and check it out. We're going to do our best. And we will also be on Tuesday streaming the showcase as well as the new season, so tune in for that as well. But thank you all very much for your support. If this video helped you, please consider dropping a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.